Welcome to Renew Yourself Now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this: a small town setting with limited opportunities and overwhelming challenges. Imagine growing up in constant uncertainty, never knowing if there will be food on the table or a roof over your head the next day. Now, picture a young boy who refuses to let hardships define his destiny and instead chooses to chase his dreams. That boy is LeBron James, and his story begins long before the bright lights of the NBA. The origin of determination. LeBron was born on the 30th of December, 1984 in Akron, Ohio. His mother, Gloria James, was only 16 years old when she gave birth to him. Without the support of a father and facing extreme financial struggles, the two were constantly on the move, changing homes, sleeping on friends' couches, and switching schools repeatedly. Can you imagine what it's like not having a stable home, not knowing where you'll sleep next or if you'll ever find a place where you truly belong? But LeBron refused to let his circumstances define him. From an early age, he found more than just a passion in basketball, he found a purpose. The game became his escape, his way of envisioning something greater. He knew that with a basketball in his hands, he could become someone. The first step toward greatness, it didn't take long for his talents to catch attention. Even in elementary school, he started standing out in street ball games. He wasn't just good, he was extraordinary. His height, agility, and court intelligence were far beyond his peers. But the real turning point came when he joined St. Vincent St. Mary High School, where his journey to greatness officially began. There, LeBron didn't just dominate school championships. He also started gaining national recognition. By the time he was 16, NBA scouts were already watching his games. Think about that. While most teenagers were worried about exams and parties, LeBron was carrying the hopes of an entire city on his shoulders. And what's even more impressive, he never backed down. He embraced the pressure and turned it into motivation. The first major test, but let me tell you something important. The road to success is never easy. By 2002, LeBron was already being treated as a future NBA star. Sports magazines featured him, and even the legendary Michael Jordan knew his name. But with fame came challenges. At one point, he almost lost everything. During high school, LeBron accepted a gift from a businessman, just a couple of expensive jerseys. Sounds harmless, right? But according to school league rules, it was considered an improper benefit, and he was at risk of being suspended. The world was ready to judge him, to discredit him, to say, this kid is not ready for the pros. Now, think about this. How many times in life are we tested? How many times does something that seems small turn into a massive obstacle? What we do in those moments defines who we are. LeBron refused to let that episode define his career. He learned from his mistake and came back even stronger. In his senior year, he led his team to a state championship and was crowned the best high school player in the nation, the chosen one. It was around this time that he appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated, one of the most prestigious sports magazines in the world. The cover boldly stated, the chosen one. Now, let me ask you, how would you feel if before even reaching adulthood, the world expected you to be the best at what you do? LeBron could have let the hype get to his head. He could have become complacent. But no, he used that pressure as fuel. Instead of just accepting the title of the chosen one, he set out to prove that he truly deserved it. And here's the biggest lesson for all of us. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what hardships you face. If you believe in your talent and work relentlessly to improve, no one can stop you. The call to greatness, the NBA was waiting for him. The basketball world wanted to see if the kid from Akron was truly the real deal. But you know what's remarkable? Despite all the fame, the media attention, and the high expectations, LeBron never forgot where he came from. He remained focused, disciplined, and humble. And now I ask you, how many of us have big dreams but allow difficulties to throw us off course? How many of us use our background as an excuse not to push forward? LeBron James teaches us that it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're determined to go. If you want to achieve greatness, stop looking at the obstacles and start building bridges. Stop listening to those who say you can and start proving them wrong. This was just the beginning of the King's journey. But trust me, the best was yet to come. Close your eyes and picture this. A packed arena, cameras focused on an 18-year-old young man, the future of basketball about to be decided with a single announcement. His name echoes through the room. LeBron James is the first overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft. The pressure was immense. The expectations were sky high, and the basketball world was eager to know, could this kid from Akron, Ohio, change the fate of an entire franchise? Let's dive into this story. The birth of a franchise savior. On the 26th of June, 2003, the NBA draft took place at Madison Square Garden. The Cleveland Cavaliers had the first pick, and their choice was clear. LeBron James was the future. Cleveland had never won an NBA championship. The team was struggling, searching for an identity, and desperate for a star to build around. LeBron wasn't just a great prospect, he was seen as the savior of the franchise. Imagine being 18 years old and carrying the weight of an entire city's hopes on your shoulders. Millions of fans were looking at him as the answer to all their prayers. From the moment he put on the Cavaliers jersey, it was no longer just about potential. It was time to prove that he was ready for the big stage. The rookie sensation. LeBron's debut was nothing short of spectacular. On the 29th of October, 2003, he played his first NBA game against the Sacramento Kings. Some people expected him to struggle, to take time adjusting to the professional level. But LeBron, he had other plans. He scored 25 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, dished out 9 assists, and stole the ball 4 times. It was one of the greatest debut performances in NBA history. And that was just the beginning. Throughout his rookie season, LeBron dominated the court. He averaged 20.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game, numbers unheard of for an 18-year-old. His ability to score, pass, defend, and control the tempo of the game was beyond his years. Unlike most rookies, he wasn't just playing well, he was leading his team. It didn't take long for the league to recognize his greatness. The Rookie of the Year. At the end of the season, there was no doubt LeBron James was the best young player in the world. He was awarded the Rookie of the Year, becoming the first Cavaliers player to win the prestigious honor. But beyond the award, something bigger was happening. LeBron wasn't just a promising player. He was already a superstar. Ticket sales for Cavaliers games skyrocketed. National television networks wanted to broadcast Cleveland's games. Wherever LeBron went, the arena was packed. The city of Cleveland, once forgotten in the basketball world, was now relevant again, all because of him. But for LeBron, this was only the beginning. More than just a player, a leader. One of the most impressive things about LeBron's rookie season wasn't just his stats, it was his maturity. Think about it, he was only 18 years old, but he spoke and acted like a veteran. He embraced the leadership role from day one. He didn't shy away from challenges. Every time the Cavaliers lost a game, he took responsibility. Every time a teammate made a mistake, he encouraged them instead of blaming them. Even NBA legends were noticing. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, and Shaquille O'Neal all saw something special in him. They knew he wasn't just another talented player, he was built for greatness. But there was one problem. No matter how great he was, the Cavaliers weren't ready to win a championship yet. And for LeBron, that was unacceptable. The beginning of a mission. LeBron had already proven that he belonged in the NBA. He had silenced the doubters. But deep down, he knew that individual success wasn't enough. He wanted more. He wanted a championship. The Cavaliers finished his rookie season outside the playoffs, a painful reminder that basketball is a team sport. LeBron hated losing. It wasn't enough for him to be greed needed to bring his team to the top. So he made a decision. He would do whatever it took to turn Cleveland into a championship team. This was no longer just a personal journey. It was a mission. The king had arrived, and he wasn't leaving until he changed history. But could he really take a struggling franchise to the top? That's a story for the next chapter. What's next? LeBron's first season in the NBA proved one thing. He was built for greatness. But being great wasn't enough. He wanted to win it all. Now, the real challenge began. Could he carry the Cavaliers to success? Would he stay in Cleveland forever? His journey was just getting started.
Imagine this. A young star carrying an entire franchise on his back, battling against the best players in the world, and proving that he was not just another great player, he was destined for greatness. But as we all know, greatness comes with obstacles. Could LeBron bring a championship to Cleveland? Or was the pressure too much for one man to handle? Let's dive into this next chapter of his journey. Rising to the top. After an incredible rookie season, LeBron kept improving every single year. His athleticism, basketball IQ, and leadership skills made him one of the best players in the NBA by the time he was in his third season. He was no longer just the future of basketball, he was already one of its brightest stars. By 2005, LeBron was selected for his first NBA All-Star game. And not only did he play, he dominated. That same year, he led the Cavaliers to their first winning season in nearly a decade. Cleveland finally had something to believe in. LeBron wasn't just scoring points, he was transforming the entire franchise. The following season, in 2006, he took it a step further, leading the Cavaliers to the playoffs for the first time in his career. And from that moment on, there was no turning back. The 2007 NBA Finals run, LeBron was only 22 years old in the 2006 -07 season, but his talent was undeniable. That year, he led the Cavaliers all the way to the NBA Finals. Think about this. Just 4 years earlier, Cleveland was a struggling franchise with no hope of winning. Now, LeBron had taken them to the biggest stage in basketball, but the challenge ahead was brutal. In the 2007 NBA Finals, LeBron and the Cavaliers faced the San Antonio Spurs, a team filled with championship experience by Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. Cleveland was completely outmatched. LeBron did everything he could, but it wasn't enough. The Spurs swept the Cavaliers 4-0. For many players, a loss like this would be devastating. Some would never recover. But LeBron, he saw it as a lesson. As painful as that defeat was, it proved one thing: he was capable of leading the team to the finals. Now, he had to figure out how to win it all. The rise of a dominant force. From 2007 onward, LeBron James was no longer just a rising star, he was one of the best players in the world. His numbers were insane. He was scoring at will, grabbing rebounds, making impossible passes, and defending at an elite level. By the time the 2008 -09 season arrived, LeBron had fully taken over the league. That year, he won his first NBA MVP award. Think about what that means. Out of every single player in the league, LeBron was officially the best. His stats were unreal. Had 28.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game, 7.2 assists per game, 1.7 steals per game, 1.2 blocks per game. He led the Cavaliers to 66 wins, the best record in the NBA. Cleveland was no longer just a playoff team, they were championship contenders. LeBron had mastered the game, but something was still missing: a championship. Another MVP, another playoff heartbreak. The 2009 playoffs were supposed to be LeBron's time to win it all. He played at an insane level, leading the Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Orlando Magic. But in a shocking upset, Cleveland lost the series 4-2. LeBron did everything in his power, including hitting one of the greatest buzzer beaters of all time in Game 2. But it wasn't enough. He left the court devastated, walking off without shaking hands. The loss hit him hard. But instead of breaking him, it fueled his fire. In the 2009-10 season, LeBron came back even stronger. He won his second consecutive MVP award. He averaged 29.7 points, 8.6 assists, and 7.3 rebounds per game. He led the Cavaliers to another 60-win season. At this point, there was no doubt LeBron James was the most dominant player in basketball. But the real test? Winning in the playoffs. The beginning of doubt. Despite another MVP season, the 2010 playoffs ended in disaster. Cleveland faced the Boston Celtics in the second round, a team led by Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. Everyone expected LeBron to dominate. Instead, Cleveland collapsed. In Game 5, LeBron played one of the worst games of his career. The Cavaliers lost, and in Game 6, Boston eliminated them. The dream was over. LeBron left the court with his head down. Fans were heartbroken. The media was ruthless. How could the best player in the world fail when it mattered most? At that moment, a new question started spreading. Would LeBron stay in Cleveland, or was it time to leave? A career at a crossroads. After 7 years with the Cavaliers, LeBron had given everything to the franchise. He turned them into a winning team. He won 2 MVP awards. He carried them to an NBA Finals, but he still didn't have a championship. He had to make a choice, stay loyal to Cleveland or chase a ring somewhere else. The whole world waited. What would the king do next? And that's where the next chapter begins. What's next? LeBron James had already conquered the NBA, but the one thing missing a championship was haunting him. Would he stay in Cleveland and try again, or would he make the biggest decision of his career? The answer would change basketball forever. Imagine this. A city worships you, a franchise is built around you, and millions of fans see you as their hero. But after years of falling short, you make a decision that will change everything. Would you risk your legacy for a chance to win? That's exactly what LeBron did. Let's break it all down. The most anticipated free agency in NBA history. By 2010, LeBron James had spent 7 seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He won 2 MVP awards. He led the Cavaliers to their first ever NBA Finals. He transformed Cleveland into a championship contender. But despite all of that, he still hadn't won a championship. LeBron hated losing. He knew he was one of the greatest players in the world, but he also knew that one man alone can't win an NBA title. With his contract expiring, the biggest question in the sports world was, would he stay in Cleveland or leave for a better shot at a championship? Millions of fans waited anxiously for his decision. And then on the 8th of July, 2010, LeBron made an announcement that shook the basketball world. The decision, the moment that changed everything. LeBron James appeared on live television in a special program called The Decision. With cameras rolling and millions of fans watching, he uttered the words that would change his legacy forever. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. With that one sentence, he officially left Cleveland to join the Miami Heat, where he would play alongside Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. The NBA had never seen anything like this. A superstar leaving his hometown team on live television, a super team being formed in front of our eyes. It was unprecedented, and the backlash was immediate. The fallout, Cleveland's anger and betrayal. To say that Cleveland was heartbroken would be an understatement. Fans burned LeBron's jerseys in the streets. The owner of the Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert, wrote a scathing open letter calling LeBron's decision a cowardly betrayal. People who once adored him now saw him as a villain. Cleveland felt abandoned. LeBron wasn't just leaving a team, he was leaving a city that had put all its hopes on it. He was now the most hated player in the NBA. But LeBron wasn't focused on the hate. He had one goal in mind, winning his first championship. The Miami Heat super team. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, 3 of the best players in the league, were now teammates. This wasn't just a regular team, this was a super team. When they held their introduction rally in Miami, LeBron famously said, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. The message was clear. They expected to dominate the NBA for years. But could they deliver? The pressure was enormous. Everyone wanted them to fail. LeBron had gone from being the most beloved player in Cleveland to the biggest villain in the league. But in his mind, none of that mattered. All that mattered was winning. The 2010-11 season, a rocky start. The Miami Heat super team struggled at first. It wasn't easy for 3 superstars to figure out how to play together, who would take the last shot, who would be the leader. The chemistry took time to build. But once they figured it out, they became unstoppable. They finished the season with 58 wins. They dominated in the playoffs, beating the Celtics and Bulls. They reached the 2011 NBA Finals in their first year together. LeBron James was one step away from his first championship, but then disaster struck. The 2011 NBA Finals, a crushing defeat. In the 2011 NBA Finals, the Miami Heat faced the Dallas Mavericks, led by Dirk Nowitzki. The Heat were the favorites. They had the better roster, the bigger stars, and the higher expectations. But something went wrong. LeBron James disappeared. He averaged only 17.8 points per game, his worst finals performance ever. In the fourth quarters, when it mattered most, he was nowhere to be found. The Mavericks shocked the world and defeated the Heat in 6 games. It was a humiliating moment for LeBron. After leaving Cleveland to chase a championship, he had failed on the biggest stage. The aftermath, the most hated player in the NBA after the finals loss, LeBron faced the most brutal criticism of his career. Fans called him a choker. The analysts questioned if he had the killer instinct to be a champion. Many said he would never win a ring. For the first time in his life, LeBron was doubting himself. But here's what makes great players different. They don't let failure break them. They use it to fuel their comeback. LeBron had hit rock bottom. Now he had 2 choices: stay down or rise up. And that's where the next chapter begins. What's next? LeBron James had made his choice. He had left Cleveland, he had built a super team, he had reached the finals, and he had failed. But this wasn't the end of his story, it was just the beginning. Now, LeBron had to answer the question, did he have what it takes to be a champion? His journey was about to take a new turn. Imagine this, the whole world doubts you, critics call you a failure, and millions of fans turn against you. What do? Do you crumble under the pressure, or do you rise, evolve, and prove everyone wrong? LeBron chose the second option. Let's dive into the 2 years that changed everything for the King. The transformation of LeBron James. After the crushing loss in the 2011 NBA Finals, LeBron James knew one thing he had to change. He stopped focusing on flashy plays and instead perfected his fundamentals. He improved his post-up game, making him nearly impossible to guard. He became a more efficient shooter, eliminating his weaknesses. And most importantly, he developed an unshakable mental toughness. LeBron wasn't just trying to be great anymore. He was on a mission. He wanted to dominate the game in a way that no one could question his greatness. And in the 2011-12 season, he did exactly that. The 2012 season, the first championship quest. From the start of the 2012 NBA season, LeBron James played like a man possessed. He averaged 27.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game. He led the Miami Heat to the second best record in the league. And he won his 3rd MVP award. But none of that mattered without a championship. The playoffs came, and LeBron was ready. And in the second round, the Heat struggled against the Indiana Pacers, but LeBron took over, scoring 40 points, grabbing 18 rebounds, and dishing 9 assists in a crucial Game 4. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they faced the Boston Celtics, who had eliminated LeBron's Cavaliers in 2010. With Miami down 3-2 in the series, LeBron delivered one of the greatest performances of his career, 45 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in Game 6. The Heat won Game 7 and advanced to the NBA Finals. LeBron was one step away from redemption. The 2012 NBA Finals, the first ring. In the 2012 NBA Finals, the Miami Heat faced the Oklahoma City Thunder, a young, hungry team led by Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Game 1, the Heat lost. The critics started talking again. Here we go, another LeBron failure. But LeBron, he didn't listen. He dominated Game 2, leading Miami to a tie in the series. He continued his aggressive play in Games 3 and 4, putting the Heat in control, And in Game 5, with everything on the line, he delivered a triple-double to seal the championship. The Miami Heat defeated the Thunder 4-1, and LeBron James was finally an NBA champion. Not only that, but he was named the Finals MVP. The moment had arrived. The King had finally claimed his crown. The 2013 season, back-to-back titles. Now, LeBron wasn't just playing for a championship, he was playing for history. The 2012-13 season was arguably the best season of his career. He averaged 26.8 points, 8 rebounds, and 7.3 assists per game. He shot an insane 56.5% from the field. He led the Heat to a franchise record 66 wins. The Miami Heat won 27 games in a row, the second longest streak in NBA history. LeBron won his 4th MVP award in 5 years. At this point, there was no debate he was the best player in the world. But could he repeat as champion? The 2013 NBA Finals, a battle for the ages. In the 2013 NBA Finals, the Miami Heat faced the San Antonio Spurs, the same team that swept LeBron in 2007. The series was brutal. The Spurs played perfect basketball. LeBron and the Heat were pushed to the absolute limit. By Game 6, the Spurs were seconds away from winning the championship. Miami was down 3 points with 19 seconds left. Then, the moment that changed history happened. LeBron shot a desperate three-pointer he missed, but Chris Bosh grabbed the rebound and passed it to Ray Allen, who hit one of the greatest clutch shots in NBA history. The game went to overtime, and Miami survived. LeBron took over in Game 7, scoring 37 points, and the Heat won the championship. For the second year in a row, LeBron James was an NBA champion and the Finals MVP. This was no longer just about redemption. LeBron had become a legend. LeBron James, the king of the NBA. From 2012 to 2013, LeBron conquered the league, back-to-back NBA championships, back-to-back Finals MVPs, back-to-back season MVPs. He had evolved from the most hated player in the league to the undisputed best. LeBron had silenced the doubters, but he wasn't done yet. What's next? LeBron had proven he could win. He has solidified his legacy, but every great story has a twist. Would he stay in Miami and continue his dominance, or would he return home to Cleveland for unfinished business? The next decision would shock the world.
Imagine this. You leave your hometown in search of success, you find it, but something inside you still feels incomplete. You have the championships, you have the respect, but there's one thing missing, fulfilling the promise you made to those who first believed in you. This is the story of how LeBron James returned to Cleveland to finish what he started. The decision 2.0, I'm coming home. After winning 2 championships in Miami, LeBron had nothing left to prove. He was a 4-time MVP. He had won back-to-back NBA titles. He had silenced his critics. But despite all of that, something felt incomplete. Miami was never his true home. Cleveland was. On the 11th of July, 2014, LeBron James announced his return to the Cleveland Cavaliers with a heartfelt essay in Sports Illustrated. In it, he wrote the now famous words, "I'm coming home." For Cleveland, this wasn't just about basketball, it was about redemption. The fans who once burned his jersey, they forgave him. The team that had fallen apart in his absence, they were ready to rise again. LeBron had one mission: bring an NBA championship to Cleveland. And this time, he wasn't alone. The new Big Three, a championship caliber team. When LeBron returned, the Cavaliers were no longer a struggling franchise. They had Kyrie Irving, a young superstar point guard. They traded for Kevin Love, one of the best power forwards in the league. They surrounded LeBron with a strong supporting cast. This was not the same Cavaliers team LeBron left in 2010. This time he had the help he needed to win it all. The pressure was on. Could this new team deliver? The 2014-15 season, the return of the king, LeBron's return instantly changed everything. The Cavaliers went from a lottery team to a championship contender overnight. They finished with a 53-29 record, one of the best in the NBA. LeBron averaged 25.3 points, 7.4 assists, and 6 rebounds per game. But the real test wasn't the regular season. It was the playoffs. The 2015 NBA playoffs, a journey to the finals. The Cavaliers dominated the Eastern Conference playoffs. In the first round, they easily defeated the Boston Celtics. In the second round, they crushed the Chicago Bulls. In the Eastern Conference Finals, they swept the Atlanta Hawks. Just like that, LeBron James was back in the NBA Finals. But there was a problem. The 2015 NBA Finals, a heroic yet heartbreaking performance. In the 2015 NBA Finals, the Cavaliers faced the Golden State Warriors, led by Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Cleveland was ready to fight, but then disaster struck. Kyrie Irving suffered a serious knee injury in Game 1. Kevin Love was already out with a shoulder injury. Suddenly, LeBron James was alone. No star teammates, no backup plan, just him. And what he did next was legendary. LeBron versus the Warriors, one of the greatest finals performances ever. With no help, LeBron put the Cavaliers on his back. He led both teams in every major statistical category points: rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He averaged 35.8 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game. He became the first player in NBA history to do this in a finals series. Think about that. One man against an entire dynasty carrying a broken team. He single-handedly led the Cavaliers to a 2-1 S-Series lead. For a moment, it looked like he might actually pull off the impossible. But the Warriors were too deep, too healthy, and too strong. Golden State won the series 4-2. LeBron had given everything, but it wasn't enough. The aftermath, a promise unfulfilled for now. Despite the loss, something had changed. The Cavaliers weren't just a good team anymore, they were a serious title contender. LeBron had proven that he could take Cleveland to the top. Now, he just needed one more piece of the puzzle. The 2015 Finals loss wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Because LeBron James had made a promise to Cleveland, and he wasn't leaving until he fulfilled it. The greatest comeback in NBA history was coming. But that's a story for the next chapter. What's next? LeBron had brought the Cavaliers back to greatness. But losing in the finals wasn't enough. The mission was clear. Cleveland needed a championship. Could LeBron finally deliver on his promise? Or would history repeat itself? The answer would change the NBA forever. Imagine this, the greatest team in NBA history stands in your way. You're down 3-1 in the series. No team has ever come back from this deficit in the finals. The world counts you out. What do? If you're LeBron James, you fight. This is the story of how LeBron defied history and delivered on his promise to Cleveland. The ultimate challenge, facing the 73-9 Warriors. The 2015-16 NBA season saw the Golden State Warriors achieve something unthinkable. They finished with a 73-9 record, the best regular season record in NBA history. They had the unanimous MVP, Stephen Curry, who was revolutionizing the game. They had a deep, well-balanced roster with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. No team had ever been as dominant as these Warriors. But LeBron James wasn't afraid. Cleveland finished with the best record in the Eastern Conference and stormed through the playoffs. And when they reached the NBA Finals, the stage was set for a rematch with Golden State. But nobody was prepared for what was about to happen. The nightmare start, Cleveland down 3-1. The series did not start well for Cleveland. Game 1, Warriors win by 15 points. Game 2, Warriors dominate again, winning by 33 points. Game 3, Cleveland fights back, with LeBron and Kyrie leading them to victory. Game 4, the Warriors win again, taking a 3-1 lead. At this point, history said The series was over. No team had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. The Warriors were one win away from cementing themselves as the greatest team ever. Critics were already writing LeBron's obituary. But LeBron James wasn't ready to accept defeat. He looked at his teammates and said, "Follow my lead." What happened next was one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. Game 5, LeBron and Kyrie make history. With their season on the line, LeBron and Kyrie Irving delivered an all-time performance. LeBron scored 41 points. Kyrie also scored 41 points. They became the first teammates in NBA history to both score 40 G1 in a finals game. Cleveland won the game 112-97. The Cavaliers weren't done yet. Game 6, LeBron does it again. Back in Cleveland, LeBron put on another legendary performance. 41 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals. Cleveland dominated and forced the Game 7. For the first time, the Warriors were scared. LeBron had single-handedly changed the momentum of the series. Now, everything came down to one final game. Game 7, the greatest game in NBA history. The 19th of June, 2016, the entire basketball world was watching. Cleveland versus Golden State, winner takes all. The game was a battle from start to finish. The score was tied 89-89 with just over a minute left. The next play would decide the NBA championship. Then it happened, one of the greatest moments in basketball history. The block, LeBron's most iconic play. With 1:50 left on the clock, Warriors guard Andre Iguodala sprinted down the court for a layup. It looked like an easy 2 points. But LeBron James came flying out of nowhere. At full speed, he leaped and blocked the shot off the backboard. It was a moment that defied physics. It was a symbol of determination. It was the greatest defensive play in NBA history. And it saved Cleveland's championship hopes. Moments later, Kyrie Irving hit a clutch three-pointer. Then LeBron sealed the game with a free throw. The Cavaliers won 93-89. The impossible had happened. Cleveland was NBA champions. LeBron's legacy cemented. LeBron was named Finals MVP, averaging 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists. He led both teams in every major statistical category of feat never seen before. He delivered Cleveland's first ever NBA championship. As the final buzzer sounded, LeBron collapsed on the floor crying. The weight of an entire city's dreams had been on his shoulders, and he had delivered. "Cleveland, this is for you." In the post-game interview, LeBron took the microphone and shouted, "Cleveland, this is for you." It was more than just a title. It was redemption. The fans who waited 52 years for a championship finally had one. The city that had been heartbroken in 2010 was now celebrating. The critics who said LeBron couldn't win in Cleveland were proven wrong. This was not just a championship. It was one of the greatest moments in sports history. What's next? LeBron James had done the impossible. He fulfilled his promise to Cleveland. He completed the greatest comeback in NBA history. He cemented himself as one of the greatest players ever. But his journey wasn't over yet. What would be his next challenge? Imagine this. You've just delivered a championship to your hometown. You've made history. You've silenced the doubters. But instead of staying comfortable, you make the boldest move of your career. You leave everything behind and head to Hollywood, a city of legends, pressure, and expectations. Would you still have what it takes to be the best? This is the story of how LeBron James took on a new challenge and faced one of the toughest seasons of his career. The decision to join the Lakers after 4 straight NBA Finals appearances with the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron had a choice to make. Stay in Cleveland and try for another championship, join a title-ready team, or take on a completely new challenge. On the 1st of July, 2018, the decision was announced. LeBron James signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a move that shook the NBA. Why the Lakers? The Lakers were not a championship contender at the time. They had missed the playoffs for 5 straight years. They were rebuilding with young players like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Kyle Kuzma. They had no superstar teammates waiting for LeBron. So why did he go there? The Lakers were one of the most iconic franchises in sports history. LeBron wanted to build something from the ground up. Los Angeles was more than basketball. It was about legacy, business, and life after the game. But to prove he was still the best, he had to win. And the 2018-19 season would not go as planned. A rocky start in Los Angeles. LeBron's first season with the Lakers had its ups and downs. He averaged 27.4 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 8.3 assists per game. The Lakers were playing well, climbing up the Western Conference standings. Fans believed that maybe, just maybe, LeBron could carry this young team to the playoffs. Then, disaster struck. LeBron's first major injury. On Christmas Day 2018, the Lakers faced the Golden State Warriors. LeBron was playing great. The Lakers were dominating the defending champions. Everything was going according to plan. Then, in the third quarter, it happened. LeBron suffered a groin injury. For the first time in his career, he was seriously hurt. He tried to shake it off, but he couldn't. This was uncharted territory for LeBron. The Lakers collapsed without LeBron. Without their leader, the Lakers fell apart. They went 6-12 during LeBron's absence. The young players struggled under pressure. The team slipped out of the playoff race. By the time LeBron returned, it was too late. For the first time since 2005, LeBron missed the playoffs. The critics came rushing in. LeBron is too old. He's no longer the best player in the league. The Lakers experiment is a failure. For a man who had dominated the NBA for over a decade, this was new. But if there's one thing we know about LeBron James, it's that he always comes back stronger. The turning point, LeBron's redemption plan. LeBron took the playoff failure personally. He spent the offseason training like never before. He studied how to extend his career and avoid future injuries. He worked with the Lakers front office to build a true championship team. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something bigger. LeBron was about to remind the world exactly who he was. And the next season, he was bringing help. What's next? LeBron James' first season in Los Angeles was a failure. But LeBron doesn't accept failure. The Lakers were about to reload, rebuild, and return to greatness. Would LeBron bounce back? Or was this the beginning of the end? Imagine this. The world is in chaos. The NBA season is suspended, and the playoffs take place in an empty arena with no fans, no travel, and extreme isolation. Could you stay mentally strong? Could you deliver a championship under these circumstances? LeBron James could. This is the story of how LeBron silenced the doubters once again and proved he was still the best player in the world. The road to the 2020 season, the Lakers reload. After missing the playoffs in 2019, LeBron James and the Lakers knew they needed more firepower. They traded for Anthony Davis, one of the best big men in the NBA. They built a deep, defensive-minded team around LeBron. They entered the 2019-20 season with one goal, a championship. LeBron had something to prove. Was he still the best player in the world? Could he bring glory back to the Lakers? The Lakers dominate the regular season. From the start, LeBron and the Lakers looked unstoppable. They finished with a 52-19 record, the best in the Western Conference. LeBron averaged 25.3 points, 10.2 assists, and 7.8 rebounds per game. The Lakers were finally back in championship form. Everything was going according to plan. Then the world changed forever. The COVID-19 pandemic. The NBA stops. In March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic put the entire world on hold. The NBA suspended the season indefinitely. Our players were quarantined at home. There was no guarantee the season would ever continue. LeBron had two choices. One, Gav, let the season slip away. Two, lie game. Stay locked in and prepare for whatever came next. He chose option two. When the NBA announced the season will resume in July 2020, but in a completely isolated setting, LeBron was ready. The NBA bubble, basketball like never before. The NBA created a bubble at Disney World in Orlando. No fans, no home court advantage. Our players locked in one place for months. For many, this environment was mentally exhausting. But for LeBron James, it was the perfect stage to show his dominance. The playoffs began, and LeBron took over the 2020 playoffs. LeBron's path to the finals. Round by round, LeBron led the Lakers through the toughest circumstances. First round, Lakers defeat the Portland Trail Blazers 4-1. Second round, Lakers eliminate the Houston Rockets 4-1. A Western Conference Finals, Lakers beat the Denver Nuggets 4-1. LeBron was on a mission. And in the NBA Finals, he would face a familiar opponent, the Miami Heat. The 2020 NBA Finals, Lakers versus Heat, LeBron James's past met his present. The Miami Heat, the team where he won his first championships, now stood in his way. The Heat were the underdogs, but they were tough. Led by Jimmy Butler, they fought hard. But LeBron was on another level. Game 6, the Lakers close it out. In Game 6, the Lakers dominated from start to finish. LeBron recorded a triple-double with 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Lakers won 106-93, securing their 17th NBA championship. LeBron James had done it again. LeBron's 4th championship and Finals MVP, a 4th NBA championship, a 4th Finals MVP, first player in history to win a Finals MVP with 3 different teams. At age 35, he had proven he was still the best in the world. After the game, LeBron had a message. I want my damn respect too. The critics had doubted him, but once again, he silenced them all. The significance of the 2020 championship. It was the first Lakers title since Kobe Bryant's passing. It was won under the most mentally challenging conditions ever. It cemented LeBron's legacy as one of the greatest players in history. This wasn't just about basketball, it was about resilience. It was about leadership. And above all, it was about proving that true greatness always rises. What's next? LeBron had restored the Lakers to championship glory. But his journey wasn't over. Could he win one more? Or was this his final championship moment? Imagine this, nearly 40 years old, still playing at an elite level, defying time and expectations. Could he keep going? Could he continue dominating the game after 2 decades? LeBron James could. This is the story of how he rewrote history and cemented his place as one of the greatest players of all time. The road to history, chasing Kareem's record for nearly 4 decades. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record of 38,387 points seemed untouchable. Players came and went. Legends made their mark. But no one got close until LeBron James. From the moment he entered the NBA in 2003, LeBron was more than just a scorer. He was a playmaker, a leader, and a winner. But as the years passed, his relentless consistency put him on a collision course with history. In the 2022-23 season, it became clear. It wasn't a matter of if only when. LeBron's incredible longevity. At 38 years old, most NBA players are either retired or playing limited minutes. Not LeBron. He was still averaging over 30 points per game. He was still leading the Lakers as their best player. He was still redefining what longevity meant in sports. Night after night, he continued to add to his total, and as the 7th of February 2023 approached, the countdown was on. The stage was set. Breaking the record, a night to remember. On the 7th of February 2023, the basketball world turned its eyes to Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. The Lakers were playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. Fans packed the arena knowing history was about to be made. Legends like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were in attendance. And then it happened. In the third quarter, with 10.9 seconds left, LeBron caught the ball, turned, and hit a fadeaway jumper. 38,388 points. The record was broken. The arena erupted in celebration. LeBron James had done what once seemed impossible. The game stopped. The crowd roared, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar himself stood up and handed the game ball to LeBron's symbolic passing of the torch. LeBron's legacy, more than just points. Becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer wasn't just about numbers. It was about dedication. It was about longevity. It was about impact. For 20 seasons, LeBron had dominated the league, evolving his game to remain at the top. From a high-flying young phenom to a seasoned veteran controlling the game, he had done it all. And now, his name was officially at the top of the record books. After the game, LeBron stood on the court, emotional, and delivered a message. I just want to say thank you to the Laker faithful. You guys are one of a kind. To be able to be in the presence of such a legend as Kareem, it means so much to me. I would never, ever take this for granted. What's next? LeBron had made history, but the question remained, what's he done? Could he still add to his record? Could he lead the Lakers to another championship? Could he defy time even further? One thing was certain, LeBron James wasn't finished yet.